wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna sacred ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Food, gas, groceries, and more. We are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Law offices of Mark Plants and Kevin Davis. First line of defense. Buzzballs, ready-to-drink cocktails. Number one single-serve premix brand in the U.S. Buzzballs, have a ball. Welcome. And yes, that is the last time you're going to have to watch that for this season. And welcome to the WolfMan's Call. Whew. Boy, I tell you what, big weekend, huh? A lot of crazy things going around, not just WVU game, crazy scores, talking about Big 12 scores, talking about Wyoming doing things, bad things to teams like Texas Tech and Texas State, doing bad things to teams like Baylor, right? P5, I don't know, wild opening weekend, and it was quite enjoyable. Hope you got a chance to see the WolfMan's Call pregame, even though it was only on the network. Pretty much nailed it down, pretty close. And thanks to Cover 2 Data, because we really excelled where it said it was going to excel. And to put it quite plainly, it was almost there, right down to the T, missed by about half a point. So regardless, I can't wait to see how this Cover 2 data is going to go out this year, because I really think we're on to something, really on to something. So that gets me fired up. But it's Monday. It's 2 days after, day and a half really. You got Penn State. The Mountaineers went up there. I have a lot to say about it. I do. I would. But so does the panel. And we're going to start off, and I'm going to bring them right in, and that's going to be, let's go with our WVU Hall of Fame hoopster, man. What's up, DP?
What's up there, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you feeling?
I feel great, man. I
feel
feel
great.
Yeah.
You ready to roll today?
I'm
You're
ready.
not going to disappoint me, are you? You're gonna
No, I'm not.
With that being said, how about this? Our author, historian, band of brothers, then and now, 66 or 70 guys. The sports column, and you know who he is. I don't know how to keep explaining. This is Frank Fear. What's up, Frank?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Doing great here.
Yeah,
what's going on, Frank?
Looking pretty great out there. Nice, looks nice out there wherever you're at. All right, and then of course we got our Hall of Fame. USA Strength and Conditioning coach, my former coach at WVU. You all know him, man. He was actually on the pregame special there. So, Coach Johnson, how you doing?
Great. How you guys doing, Wolf?
Oh, well, we've been better, right? We've been better.
Absolutely.
According to Neil Brown, his press conference today, he's a fighter. So he's going to fight. And, a lot of things you can learn from that game, as he said, and a lot of things he liked, a lot of things he didn't like, as you can imagine here. But let's just go right around the room here. And Al, I'm going to start with you. What did you think about the game, and what was just overall impression?
Tell you what, I thought we played 30 minutes of great football in the first half. I liked the effort. I liked the focus they came out with. I don't think it didn't look like the moment was too big, which it very well could have been. And I think that it's a good starting point. I think that we're definitely heading in the right direction. I just think that we have we've got a lot of things to build on, positive things, and I guess we'll get into as we continue on this call. But there's a lot of things that we can improve on. And so there were lots of positive things I think came from the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What about you, Frank? What say you?
Boy, I think Al nailed it. I felt good about the game. I really did. I thought the defense played very well against a very, very difficult quarterback. I mean, when we think about 5 stars, sometimes they don't live up to their billing. But Penn State has a real winner there. I thought we might be able to get him in the backfield, but boy, he was nimble, got away in some of his biggest plays when he was able to get out of the pocket and then go vertical. Which is the last thing I'll say as an intro is one of the things we have to work on is that vertical passing. I looked at the stats, and I think it was 6 yards average completion, something like that for West Virginia. That's just not going to get it done.
All right, DP, what do you say?
I mean, I agree with both. What I saw was, all fixable stuff. Those crossing patterns hurt us. Bad angles on defense hurt us. Offensively, stepped up. I think, I have a question. When I played basketball at WVU, we didn't press that much at home. Away. We press more at home. Do you run the ball more away so you keep the ball out of the hands of the quarterback? Like a quarterback like that's what
yes, you do want to do that. And you want to – Neil Brown's game plan was owning the clock. He wanted to keep that offense of Penn State's off the field, which they did win, I think, the time of possession, and they did get it. And they do want to run. Hey, listen. All right. So I'm going to take it. Here I go.
Pick your speed, baby. Pick your speed.
Don't get offended, my friends here. And I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. And the fact is, the moment did not seem to be too big for them. Okay, they looked like they were there to compete. I agree with the competing to a certain degree. Then they never once threatened Penn State in that game. Okay, Neil Brown says that they were close. They had opportunities to win the game. I'm looking at a score with 4 minutes left in the game. It's 31-7. Right? I don't know how many scores with 31-7, 4 minutes left in the game where you really felt like you had moments that you could go ahead and take that, snatch the victory away from them, the jaws of defeat, right? I mean, it was a competitive game. What I don't like is the fact that it almost feels like, hey, man, we don't suck as bad as we thought we sucked. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like. And the fact is listen, yes, you could go and lose, and you could do a lot of learning from that. A lot of learning. And as you said, I agree with you, and I agree with you, Frank, in some of your things. But you still gave up 500 yards. You still gave up the first-time quarterback that started 322 yards. Okay. Now, you go ahead, and Frank, you're so on to something here with your stats with the 6 yards per completion. And that is that you go ahead and you don't go through your progressions. When did Garrett Green go through a progression? When did he go to a check down? It was either his first read, the tight end, or the receiver, Carter. You tell me if I'm wrong, but you got to learn to go through progressions. And I showed it, but Allard did it all the time. How do you throw two incompletions on screen passes? Okay, I mean that's as Neil Brown said in his press conference today, those got to be layups. Okay, you can't miss the layups. And in your terms, DP, when you throw incompletions on screen passes, when you can't, I mean, you got to be accurate. He's never once hit 60. He hit 59% of all the games he's ever played. He's played, 11 games now? He's never hit over 60% in accuracy completion.
Yeah, that one slant play, it stings out in my head too. When he threw it way behind, was he throwing to the slant guy or the guy going out? I couldn't figure that one out.
I don't know if anyone can answer that question right now, or that know what was going on, because it was that bad. That's what I'm talking about. So that you say that intermediate passing, I'm saying is, I don't think he can see intermediate. I think he can see short. I think he can see when his first read, and I think he can throw the deep ball, and he's got it. But I think it's hard when you got those 6'6" offensive linemen in front of you, and then 6'6" defensive linemen in front of you. It's hard, man. That's why you always want to see him bail out of the pockets so fast. Now I'm going to tell you something. Gary Green's a tough son of a gun. All right, I take nothing away from that young man, that young brother. Right, he's a tough son of a gun, but toughness can only get you so far in a skilled position as well. Al, go ahead.
I just disappointed, like Frank had mentioned, really got to work on the vertical passing game because that'll loosen up the defense. It's just, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to win a lot of games if we have to depend on Garrett with his legs. I mean, we got to have more balance. I mean, it's, like what's the kid who transferred in from South Carolina? Carter, the receiver?
NC State, yeah.
NC State. I mean, what did he get? What did he get? 3 targets? 3 or 4 targets? I mean, to me, that kid looked athletic as heck and looked like we underutilized him. I mean, what I'm saying is that we got to push the ball downfield. And Garrett at his height, can't stay in the pocket. He's too short to stay in the pocket, like you just mentioned. There's got to be a lot of play action to get him outside the tackles, play action to try to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I hear you, Coach. And Frank, let me ask you this. What did you think of CJ running the ball there, Donaldson? I thought he looked pretty good.
He did. But, if you ask me what's the one thing that surprised me the most, and I think it bears it out with the data, credit to Zach Anderson at Rivals.com, who reported the Pro Football Focus stats. Let me give them to you. Offensive line, run blocking, on a scale of 0 to 100, they graded out at 72.3. Offensive line, pass blocking, graded 25.4. And so if you think about that passing game and what the quarterback can or can't do, you can't win with a 25.4. The other thing that surprised me was on defense. When I saw this piece of information, I was shocked. Aubrey Burks graded out free safety at 36.4. And you all know that Pro Football Focus is probably the gold standard in terms of grading. Those are the 2 stats that stuck out to me that clearly have to be improved. For the passing game to improve, the quarterback, no question about it. You got to use, Nico just can't be a gadget guy. But it's that offensive line has to pass block at a much better level than they run, close to what they're doing on a run block. Mm-hmm. And we got to get better play out of the free safety.
Well, I don't know. I about lost my head, my board, when they brought Nico in on that 4th down and just said, "Here, go ahead, go ahead." First of all, is that all right? You're going to line him up as in the slot or the wing? Excuse me, the wing. And I mean, did he have a shirt on that said, "I'm the quarterback"? I don't know, but I mean, it's like, hey, look, he doesn't even have any grass stains on him. All right, he's 30. All right, so he's shining new, like out in the white. I mean, again, is if you're gonna do something like that, you gotta bring him in beforehand. You gotta do a little sucker baiting. You know what I mean? Do something to set up the play a little bit. But that was a critical down.
And he ran to his left.
He is left-handed though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No. But that was a critical down that you put on a true rookie. Penn State. I mean, now is not the time to get really crafty, man. Or I love the fact what your short yardage that you went for it and you got up there and you put Garrett behind and you had Zach Frazier do the push and that's football, man. And let's take a look here before Frank we get to your area. Well, let's look at the physicality that we were talking about. Camp. He made camp. He said it over and over again. we're making this camp so much more physical. Did he not? Yes, you all heard that. You heard him say, Jordan Leslie, we are calloused tacklers. Dante Wright, we are callous because we got calluses because we're doing it. And I thought it showed up at times. That they looked like they were a much better crew than last year. Last year, Lord, I tell you what, man, I could have right then just been, I could have left WVU forever. Because I'll tell you what I saw was absolutely horrible. So again, it goes to show you that you can make a difference by your attitude in camp, by your actions, that you can change. There's still problems with tackling, yes, but it wasn't like, I'm telling you, last year that score would have been 70-7, right? So if you're looking for a standard of improvement, but fellas, I mean, are we looking for improvement, or are we just trying to win some ball games? Do you know what I mean? Like when we think about this, and Neil Brown even said it today. Okay, to his credit, he goes, "We're an 0-1 team until we win a ball game." So yes, he does understand that, and I just feel like, wow, it's just so good not to suck as bad as we thought we did. That's what I think. It was just everybody's thoughts, and it just bothers me. And I tell you, it bothers me because we never thought that way. It was never entered into our heads.
Right. And like I go back when I was there, when I left, we always thought the football team would win a game. We always thought when Major, Slayton, and all those guys were playing, we always thought, West Virginia was going to win. Now we got to the hope end. We like Redskin fans. Redskins had to run so long, so every little small success is great success when you're losing. It doesn't add up. We could say, oh, we did do it in the first half, for the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? So sometimes some big teams or the better teams warm up in the second half. It was good. They competed better. You know what I mean? Like, so they planned for the coach. But does it stop now because you have some adversity? You lost the first game, or do you get better at it?
Well, and the other thing, Frank, let's go back, or let me throw this at you, Coach. All right, let's just say this, right? So you've been all summer long. Everyone's been hooting and hollering about how bad West Virginia is, right? And calling you out, and Herb Street say 6 wins. Where's the team at now, though? When you go, okay, so this game is over. It's gone. Learn from it, but man, get it away, because just throw it away. You don't want anything to do with this game after you've taken and learned from your mistakes, and throw it right out of your head, because now you got 11 more games to go, and you got to take obviously one game at a time. But learn what you got. You played in front of a big crowd, biggest crowd ever, WVU live crowd. Got that out of the way. You looked like you were ready there for the moment. How do you go ahead and use this as a motivator now? Because it's all over.
Yeah, you flush it. You flush the first game. You learn from it. You point out the positive things that we did. I mean, as a head coach, you got to really accentuate the positive things, the effort, and show, hey, for half of a game, I mean, we were in this game against one of the top ranked teams in the country. This is probably one of the better teams you're going to play. But we have to flush it. We have to move on. We've got 11 more games that are guaranteed. Nothing beyond that. And I think that. It's the most improvement you're going to, what's the analogy? You're going to make the most improvement from game 1 to game 2. So we're going to see what team, against Duquesne, they're going to come out, or are they going to, all gas, no brakes? Is that going to be is that going to be the attitude and the effort we're going to get? Or is this going to be a thing where we're going to linger? We're going to let Duquesne stay in the game. And then finally we put them away in the fourth quarter. Or do you put them away early and you play hard? Because you guys know you got to build some momentum going into Pitt. If you don't build momentum, I think there's some momentum coming out of this game. Not that you concede losing is a positive thing, but I think you've got to build some momentum going into these, especially this week, and build in going into Pitt. Because after Pitt, it's all Big 12, right?
Yeah.
No, you're right. And the thing is, I don't want you to think that I'm like all negative on this team. I'm not. It's the mentality I'm worried about. Of the fact that people are like, hey, that was great. No, you still lost. You still lost big. And that's what I'm trying to say. And you still lost by over 20. So you didn't even cover this. But now, we'll get into that a little bit. But, Frank, is there a chance with Duquesne that there could be a hangover now because Duquesne's FCS Penn State was Penn State. I mean, that's what everybody was looking forward to. You know, you get up there, boom, it's great, it's over. Now, we got Duquesne now. Trap?
I don't see it that way. Actually, I came away watching that game on Saturday night feeling confident, and I'll tell you why. And you alluded to it, Wolf. Last year, it was a painful watch. So many missed tackles. The defense was a sieve. The secondary just was not very good at all. Turned it around last couple games, obviously against Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Great. Got good play out of both quarterbacks. But one of the other things that gives me hope, and that's why I don't think Duquesne's a trap game, is I look especially at what Pro Football Focus had to say about the line play, specifically the West Virginia offensive line against Penn State. And when I looked at the Penn State pass blocking and run blocking, then I looked at West Virginia's pass rush and pass defense, it was equal. Now, I'm a Big Ten guy because I spent so many years, I'm still up here in Big Ten country, and I would say, based on my observations, Penn State, I would say, is the odds-on favorite. I think they're going to give the Wolverines, I think they're going to give them a tussle. I think this may be the year where they beat Michigan. And so I think West Virginia went up to a very difficult place to play. That broadcast was a joke. West Virginia could have played with no name on the shirts. That was a Big Ten broadcast. It was a Penn State broadcast. And, they was 7-7. They played very well. And what I'm concerned about is why in the hell there isn't more of a stink over how a major college football coach could score a touchdown with 6 seconds left when the line, the betting line is at stake, because that's exactly what it was. West Virginia would have covered if that last touchdown hadn't been. So if I'm the coach of West Virginia, I'm going to be very confident. That line play has to improve on passing. But look, I mean, Duquesne beat Edinburgh last week. And obviously Edinburgh was a fine school, but so it should be a blowout. And anything less than a blowout will change my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. And I like that because that's what we hear. That's what we see. Yeah. That's why I want all your opinions other than mine, even though I'm right, you're not. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Wolf. Hey, the other thing too. I think, Frank, you bring up a great point because I think that Penn State 6-1, that last touchdown at the end. Of course, Franklin makes all these analogies like, well, that was my backup quarterback, my backup offensive line, all that stuff. But you know what? It comes down to one word. It's called class. It comes down to class. I mean, hey, let me ask you this question. I want to ask Frank. I want to ask Darryl. I want to ask Wolf. If that's a Big Ten opponent, does he stick it in there or does he not? Because he wants the conference. He doesn't want to make the conference look bad. Here, West Virginia, what do we got? A 1-1 series. They're coming into Morgantown next year. So if we're a Big Ten team, if we're Wisconsin, does he stick that touchdown in at the end? I'm just asking.
No, I don't think so. I think West Virginia scored late, and because of the rivalry. I think about a week or two ago we was talking about competition. Do you play softer teams? Now West Virginia is one of those teams that's not that good, but good enough that looks good enough on your resume that you say, "Oh, we beat them by 20 points," and they might win some games later on. Instead of a Duquesne, Penn State have us, and they say, "Oh, that's a Big 12 team. We did this to a Big 12 team." So, I think, some of that, what you said, Al, they wouldn't have done it to another Big Ten team because they know they had to play them again next year. They'll play us again next year, but it doesn't really, they don't think we're a threat to them. They know, Michigan State's a threat to them. So until we become a threat, I think they wouldn't do that kind of stuff.
All right. You know what? If I'm the head coach, hey, think about this too. If I'm the head coach, if I'm Neil Brown, I'm going to Duquesne. I'm putting another chip of wood on their shoulder. And guess what? This team just disrespected nationally. The broadcast team, as Frank and Wolf brought up, I mean, is a Big Ten bias. I mean, like you said, hey, at times in the pregame, other than sing the drum with the WV on, I wasn't sure who Penn State was playing. But I think you could build momentum and put a chip on our shoulder going into, not only Duquesne, but going forward you know what? We don't have any respect. And then the other thing I want to throw out to you, last thing, is Neil Brown. Why do the talking heads state the obvious when they're talking about the number one coach in America on the hot seat is Neil Brown? Really? Hey, duh. No, really? Are you kidding? Seriously? I mean, hey, do you think we're morons sitting here on our couch in the living room watching the game? We know that. You're stating the Captain Obvious.
We've been saying.
I think if you look at this from a Penn State perspective, let's forget looking at it from a West Virginia perspective. That game was a lot tougher than they thought. A lot tougher. And there's a lot of, Brown put it well. We have nothing to lose. Penn State has everything to lose. They have one focus, not just win the Big Ten, but get into the college football playoff. And so running up the score, and it wasn't really running up, but scoring at the end to make that gap wider is extremely important. If that score doesn't look as wide as it's supposed to be and the line went to 21 points, that's something that you can't go back and rectify. So I look at it from a Penn State point of view. West Virginia gave them a much tougher game than they expected that West Virginia would give them. Donaldson's a beast. He ran hard. And, you know, there's a lot to fix on the WVU side. But if I'm Penn State, I'm saying to myself, okay, we got some really big teams coming up. We've got to do a much better job in a variety of areas. If West Virginia can do this to us, other teams will in spades.
Well, you got that right, because they didn't look as good as they were predicted to be. To be quite honest with you, and West Virginia certainly didn't look as bad as they were predicted to be.
Yeah, it was his first game. You know what I mean? First game gets competition, on both sides.
You know, we get to this. But we got
the post game. George Franklin, though, the post game on TV, he gives kudos to Garrett Green. He never, what kind of bothered me, whether I'd have been a West Virginia fan or not, the fight that the team on the other sideline came to the battle with and gave Penn State a fight. Why did he never mention the word West Virginia? Or why did he not say, you know what, that's a pretty good football team on the other sideline. They're better than what people would perceive. I mean, he singles out Garrett Green, which is great, but he never says the word West Virginia, and he never gives any credit to that team on the other side.
Well, the fact that if you have a quarterback that throws the ball 160 yards a game and can't get over 60% completion, why he's putting him out anyways? I mean, let's be honest here, right? They only scored a touchdown until 2 minutes left in the game, one touchdown. I mean, let's be very, very honest here. You don't win games by scoring 15 points. You don't win games, and not many anyways. So the idea is again, I'm going to go back to this. James Franklin is not like West Virginia. Okay, he was a Maryland guy. All right, and by the way, what did anybody ever say? Put the word class before Franklin. I don't believe I've ever heard that in the same sentence ever. And I'm not just kidding. I mean, like, this guy is very rough around the microphone. I mean, he's not a gracious dude or a dopey or whatever. No, he's kind of a prick. You know what I mean? He's always had that type of attitude. And so, you know, my impression is this. I think that he may have scored that touchdown because he put in his second teamers all in, and West Virginia kept all their first teamers in and scored there late. I gotta wonder if he's just being good that way. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. That's just a theory.
Look at the comment.
Class is there though, but class is not there. That's for sure. And,
look at the comment. Look at the comment, Dale, by Stephen Keel. He said your guys are wrong. Franklin does that to everyone. If WVU does not want to be scored on late, stop running your plays and onside kicks.
All right. Well, that's your opinion, man. Okay, cool. I mean, you're right. You're right about that. And you know, listen, I gotta say, is I play the full game. It's just funny how it went down that was the line, the betting line. And you pull off, and everybody, half the country that bet is all pissed off, and the other half's happy. And then if you go and score, flip it on over. So go figure.
Yeah, but the reality of that, what he said is absolutely on target. On the other hand, what do? You kick that ball deep. You had to do the onside kick. And if you don't recover it, you know what's going to happen. There's another thing here that's really important, and it's a matter of history. And I'm talking about not 5 years, 10 years. I'm talking about 50 years, a long time. There is that, it's no secret. It goes back to the Paterno years that, Penn State is superior to West Virginia. That's the way they think. And so I think you put in a whole bunch of factors, and that's why they scored it with 6 seconds left. It's not one thing. It's many things, but not to put history into the mix, I think, would be a mistake. Remember, we don't say we are Mountaineers. We are West Virginia. Think about that statement. We are Penn State, which means you are not. So you got a bunch of it's all, and I think you're right, Wolf. We got to move on, but there are a lot of variables in here, and the only thing that really matters now is for WVU to fix the things that need to be fixed, blow out Duquesne, and then get ready for Pitt and win that game. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Well, no, that's what you got to do. But again, it's just going ahead and wrapping us up. Now, I want to tell everybody tomorrow, I will have game film of Penn State. We'll break it down. So we're going to come back here tomorrow and actually show you what was good, what was bad, because I like to talk, and I can run my mouth a lot. But I like to do more and show it, and show what my mouth is saying to back it up or not back it up, and to tell the truth. And again, everything you guys are saying, this is a great right here group, because you all give us a little something different than myself. And I think so. We're gonna wrap it up, but we know where everybody stands on this and hoping. But Duquesne, let's move on to Duquesne. And Frank, you got a little bit of knowledge about the Dukes. What's going on with them?
Well, yeah, you're right. Both sides of my family are from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, which is not that far from Pittsburgh. And so I grew up, following Duquesne. I went to a Catholic college myself. So, and then, from Western New York, we moved up to New York State, and a number of my family members went to St. Bonaventure, and Bona and Duquesne at one point were big rivals. So let's few things about the background with Duquesne that my guess is most of our viewers do not know. I wrote an article about 5 years ago entitled something like College Football That Was, and the purpose was to go back in history and look at schools that were major players in college football that dropped off the map, most of them after World War II, and Duquesne was one of them. Now, here's some stats here. And this is a party question for you. Ask at a party, has Duquesne ever gone to a major bowl game? That's the first question. Or you can ask the question, was Duquesne ever in the Orange Bowl? And even a better question
because you're asking that question.
Yeah, and the big question is, did Duquesne ever win an Orange Bowl? And the answer is yes, 1937 against Mississippi State. The Duquesne Dukes were ranked in the top 20 5 years in the 30s and early 40s. And one year they finished 8th in the country in 1941. And listen to the guys that played for them and coached for them. Art Rooney played for them. We know Art Rooney, senior of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. Aldo Danelli, another name that was an NFL coach, he played for them. And one of their coaches back then was a guy named Elmer Layden. And Elmer Layden then went on to coach Notre Dame. And this guy, incredible. Between and he played for Newt Rockne at Notre Dame, Elmer Layden did. Then he went to coach Duquesne. He was 95-29 at Duquesne and Notre Dame. An incredible, for 15 years, the Duquesne Dukes were something. And then, like so many Catholic schools, money got in the way, and they left the major scene in 1950. So the other thing that most of our fans may not know is that there was a series with West Virginia that included 8 games through the late 20s. Most of them played late 20s through the mid 30s. And West Virginia is only 4-3-1 against Duquesne. This is the first time they've played since 1935. And what's also interesting to me, and I told Wolf I'd look at their current squad, they're recruiting nationally. Their quarterback is from LA. Their running back is from Missouri transfer. He's from St. Louis. He's their best running back. And their best wide receiver is from Miami. So you got to watch for these are names. Darius Perennis is their quarterback. He is a fourth-year senior. He had a good day against Edinburgh, but it's Edinburgh last week. Also remember the name Taj Butts. He's a running back. He's the guy from St. Louis, Missouri transfer. He had 109 yards against Edinburgh last week. And Keyshawn Brown is another name to look out for. He's the guy from the Miami area. He had a good game against Edinburgh. They're a little bit weak in the special teams, particularly in terms of their field goal kicker. Their defense had 6 sacks last week, 1 interception. A guy to watch on D, and I'll stop with this, is a guy by the name of Ty Howard. He's a linebacker, and he had a couple of sacks and a lot of solo tackles against Edinburgh. So I think they're going to come in crazy, as you would expect them. They also play other major teams, Coastal Carolina. They gave UCLA a tough go last week. They're playing Coastal, and they're also playing Delaware. But West Virginia makes the 3 big games for them this year. This is a big stage for this team, and they're going to try to make the most of it.
No doubt about it. And they are tough, and they also have 13 Power 5 dudes, or maybe I won't say Power 5. I'll say Division I dudes that transferred in.
That's right.
Portal. So they have guys that have used to playing some D1 talent. And Mike, let me just go to here quickly. Here, let me see what you said here. Can we afford to fire Neil Brown if he doesn't turn around the season? Whether the both buyouts for Huggins and Brown. Okay, so I'm not familiar right now with the buyout for Huggins, what's going on with that and what that total package is. But I will say this, you can't afford not to if he doesn't turn it around. All right? When you see all those seats, this year was probably, to be quite honest with you, that was some of the saddest times I could think of leading up to my 40 years of being a WVU fan, of low expectations, of just true low. And that's very sad. That means ticket sales. And when you can't sell tickets and you can't do it, how can you go ahead and afford to pay? Again, you say a buyout, but then you're saying, okay, it's $13 million after this year. Now, it's not $13 million all at once. It is year by year. So there are ways to help with that factor. But if you remember last Thursday against Baylor, the Thursday game, the stadium was half full. I've never seen a West Virginia game beginning looking like that. I've never seen that. And that is really bad for when it's all about the dollar nowadays. When you hear about Ren Baker talking about, we have to get this kind of money, we have to start naming rights and do all this and that. Well, when you don't buy tickets, that's what talks the most. I mean, and your money's going to be down, your donors are going to be down. So again, you got to change the perception, because if the perception is not there, neither is the money, whether it's donors or whether it's people buying seats. Right? So how can you afford not to go ahead and try to start off? We're talking about year 6 now. All right. So I mean, it's not like this is year 2 or 3. This is year 6. No, he turns this around and he's winning. Guess what? People are buying tickets. Donors are given. It's all taken care of. Neil Brown has one way that he can make this all work, and that's to win. Just win, and it will work. And he will be safe. He will be safe. But it's darn if you do, darn if you don't. I mean, I really think so. What are we going to do? Green? Does Darryl or styling and profiling? All right. Look at that. But he's representing WVU. No respect to Al and Wolfman. They're great too. What other? No disrespect. Hey, Al, you're getting disrespected, buddy.
Happened. Been there, done that. It's happened before.
Hey, what do you guys think about these crazy scores here, man? Let's just get into it. What do you think about Colorado? Al, I'll go to you first. What do you think about Colorado, man?
Wow. You know what? I like the way and I dislike some things. I like the way that they really promote the program. I like, every coach in America thought about what Dion said when he first came in about guys transferring. I mean, every coach coming in wants to bring their own players in. They want, and the thing with Dion, he challenged them. I mean, the kids that worked hard and stayed the course and busted their tail, they stayed. The other guys, maybe guys that were uncertain, they were scared. They didn't think it could match up to the intensity of what was expected of them. Moved on, but I don't know. I like the way, I like the enthusiasm. I don't know if I like all the chest pounding. I don't know if I like that. I mean, I like to be like a silent storm, a silent killer, assassin.
Oh my gosh!
He can't. Colorado can't sneak up on anybody else.
Nope.
There's no way to sneak up on anybody else.
Well, let's hear from the man himself, huh?
Being here, thank
What's that?
Let's hear from the man himself.
you for everything. Wonderful game, wonderful beginning, intriguing, passionate, purposeful. It's all of that. We had some guys that singled themselves out with their playing and their playing ability. A lot of guys you doubted. One of them from HBCU. I think he had 510 yards passing in a Power 5 football game. And he happened to be my son. And I'm proud of him tremendously. Defensively, we had some letdowns, but the guys came and made the plays when they needed. I think.
Boy, I tell you what, everybody else, you were there in our pregame. Everybody was talking about that, saying, hey, it can happen for Colorado, the Buffs. It can happen for West Virginia. Unfortunately, it did not, but that doesn't prove anything that what Dion has done. I said there's two great experiments in college this year. One is Deion Sanders, and I'll tell you what, that man is winning. I mean, when you talk about it, winning, he's winning. He got Colorado into the Big 12. They probably would not have gotten in there. What he's done, he's changed. All attention has been focused on Colorado, and then you go into your first game, you knock off a top 25 TCU team, and kind of dramatic fashion too, in a lot of ways. What say you, Frank?
Well, I enjoyed watching that game. I mean, he's changing the sort of the way in which coaches, other coaches are going to do what he's doing. When you go in, you basically say, here's who I am, here's what I want to do. And the players are either who are there. If they don't fit, we're going to bring in other players. It was exciting. The thing that surprised me the most, though, was that TCU defense. I mean, when you think about a team that's coming off a national championship game, and they just had loads of trouble. So kudos to Prime and Colorado. You got to cheer for him. You got to cheer for CU because they've been down, almost consistently since they won a national championship. But I will tell you one thing, and I'll go on record. You know who they're playing this weekend, right?
Who?
Nebraska.
Yeah.
They're playing Nebraska at home. Nebraska has to win this game. They only gave up 55 rushing yards to Minnesota. They got a great coach, too, in Matt Rule. He's a great coach. The line, I think, is only like 3 points. That's a game to watch for a variety of reasons because you got one team that wants to keep that train chugging down the down the track, and the other one trying to get a train on the track. But I wouldn't count out Nebraska coming into that game and saying, guys, it's now or never.
Well, I don't doubt that. And, let me ask you this. Does it offend you when Dion says, don't be offended by my confidence?
No.
He just cracks me up, man.
I think it's a few things. Most coaches, they need this money for their livelihood. He's already had it. He's always been one of those kind of guys, bravado kind of guy. And then everybody say he can't do this. You won't be able to do that. Your son is not that good. So all he's doing is shooting back at people who shot darts at him. Is it wrong? Is it right? I don't know. I mean, like when he first got there, he was very honest with the kids and is very honest with the public. And I think some people like that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if you're not good enough, if you don't want to be here, it's okay. You can leave. You know what I mean? Coach has been pushing people out of systems for a long time, and before this portal, you're not good enough. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where now you get the guy that says it. You know what I mean? Then we have some reservations about it, but it's like I'd rather have somebody be that honest than be they'll come to the media and say one thing and behind closed doors they're saying something else.
Hey, DP, you bring a great point because every coach in America that goes in a new program is thinking that. I mean, he's the one that says it. There's a camera crew right there with it. I mean, so hey, you can't damn him for saying it. I mean, maybe the way he did it was completely out of
it's out of the norm.
The cookie cutter coach way to do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, hey. He didn't. Hey, he was transparent. He didn't BS.
Hey,
Al, that was a great recruiting tool. It was a great. Okay. You don't want me? I'm gonna go to him.
Yes. Yeah. No question.
All right, but listen. So with Deion, he goes ahead. He knows exactly what he's thinking. But why is it wrong when you want to fire, say, a Neil Brown saying he's on a hot seat because he's not winning? Well, but you can't go ahead and knock all those transfers out and get your people there. I mean, you can't have that. Listen, if you're going to pay me to win, I'm going to win. I'm not going to come in and take this team over and win with these guys. That's why they were 1-11. Yeah, because we have to get rid of them. But then people said, I always said it. I said this in the pre. Don't ever bet against Prime.
You said it. You said it early.
I said it.
When he first got hired.
He will bring these guys together because they're all old.
Hey, how about the statement he makes, though? Hey, Wolf, how about the statement he makes, though, when he came in, which I thought was phenomenal? He looked across the room. He goes, since none of you in this room, since you've been alive, Colorado has not been relevant at all during your entire lifetime.
Wow.
I mean, I thought that was monumental. I thought that was.
I look at it this way. Every profession has an in club. In the case of college football coaches, they're in a fraternity. Prime's not in the fraternity. He's a totally different look. He's an outsider coming in. Who he is different. What he does is different. And how he does it is different. And we're so used to coach speak because that's what the fraternity does. It is really, really important. So I like this because, we talk about all the restructuring and all the conferences, Pac-12, that's off the field. What Deion's doing is he's shaking up the game on the field by who he is, what he does, and how he does it. And that's good for the game because for too long we just had, it doesn't make a difference who the coach is or where. They pretty much say the same thing because they're part of the fraternity.
Yeah,
so good for him. Good for the game.
He's part of the new way. I mean, think about it. He's relevant to 18 to 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, real relevant. I mean, it's not like this coach, hey, this is the way we've always done it. This is the way we're going to continue to do it. And like you said, coach speak. I mean, he's relevant and current with 18 to 22-year-olds, their thought processes.
And what's amazing about that is you got to give the University of Colorado administration a lot of credit. They were desperate. Remember, Deion interviewed at TCU, didn't get the job. And I don't know if you've read this, but it's true. I've seen it in print more than once. The University of Colorado offered him a contract. They did not have the money at the time to pay him what they offered him. It was a bet on the future, and what happened? As soon as they offered it to him, donations went up. They started selling more tickets. So you got to give the administration a lot of credit. They were not, and I hate to say this, and I won't, because I don't want to get in trouble. They didn't take an austerity approach. Cut, be conservative. But they were audacious by hiring this guy when they didn't have the money to pay him.
Yeah.
Credit, CU.
You know what? That's what I just said, though. Win.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I always said that, when you find these coaches that are magnet people, they draw attention, all right? Just by the fact that Colorado's been this offseason has been the most reported about school, all right, on video, whatever, people following just to see what Deion's going to say next. I mean, he's brought that attention. Again, I think he single-handedly got Colorado into the Big 12. I mean, just for his status, they were 1-11. Oh, why would you mark on him? I mean, they were the first ones to get in, right? First ones to jump in. And again, is what you're saying, Frank, is that audacious, and they're proving it, saying, why if Neil Brown doesn't win, you need to fire him even if you don't have the money. Is what I was trying to say, because you can't afford not to.
Yeah, and also in college sports, your assistants are your most utilized weapons. Al Johnson, if he wasn't doing the weight program the way he was doing it back in the day, would y'all guys be that good? You know what I mean? With recruiting, Doc Holliday and all those guys. So Deion surrounded himself with some good coordinators, and it's helping them. You know what I mean? Like Deion's getting all the credit, and I'm sure he's going to give credit to this coordinators, because we saw it the first game. This guy went from a SWAT school to throwing 500 yards in one of the highly ranked, colleges in the country. Somebody put it on the chat, depleted or not, he threw for 500 yards. You know what I mean? So that's a lot coming from a small college like Jackson State.
I mean, well, first of all, I don't care what you say. You can say depleted all you want. They're top 25. Okay, so someone thought they were all right, Joey. All right? I mean, they're top 25. I mean, 500 yards. I don't care what you guys say about Dan. He's going to win. He's not going to lose the rest of his games. He's a winner, and that's
he's always been a winner. Every level. Every level. It's
well. Look what Jackson State did over the weekend. They were whomped in their first game without him.
I didn't see that, but again, he gets young men to believe in themselves, and he does that. But it's also because he makes them think that they are special, and he does it the right way. If you listen to Deion Sanders and you just cut through all the stuff that is, let's say, modern day talk, all right, you know what I mean? He sounds like Bear Bryant. He's old school. Okay?
He's got a lot of old school in him, yes.
He's got a ton of old school in him, man. And he talks about walking the straight line. He benched his son in the championship game
for being late.
5 minutes late. He benched his son. Okay?
Yeah.
That's old school now.
And he's got the Otani of college football. How many times have we seen a two-way player and a two-way player succeed? That goes back to platoon football. I mean, it's amazing. The guy's making an interception. He's catching passes. Unbelievable.
A lot of fun, isn't it? A lot of fun.
Imagine how smart he was to play on both sides, to get those game plans for both sides, and be that effective at full speed. He was never slow, so he always played full speed. And the people he had to guard, then it's just like the punt returns is more backyard stuff, but being a receiver and being that cornerback, so I'm sure he did a lot of listening in those meetings. So that goes to back to where a lot of these guys that's professional athletes or high level players, they don't get enough chances. But we watched a lot of tape throughout the years. We learned a lot of different things. It's like some of the things I learned from Pallet I still use in high school and AAU. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't forget all that teaching. You don't forget all that good coaching. Once you become a coach.
Hey, did you guys see? Hey, Wolf, did you guys see what Sonny Dykes said after the game? He was talking about he got a question about Amani Bailey. Carried the ball 14 times for 164 yards. He did not run the ball after the first play of the fourth quarter. He experienced cramps. And he says somehow Travis Hunter of Colorado managed to play every snap, 129 plays, and we had guys who couldn't. He says we take a lot of pride in our strength conditioning program and nutrition. It didn't show up today for us.
Oh, that's big.
Hey,
that's a big statement right there.
Yeah.
Who's your buddy down there, Al? Taking a hot shot at him, man.
Hey, look, it's like this. You kind of just long arm it, like, well, he's not that close, the guy does a great job. In TCU. Great job.
Oh, absolutely. I won't put you in a bad way here. But I said there's two great experiments in college right now. One is Deion. The other is Josh Eiler for WVU basketball. DP, how's that working out?
He's still getting some transfers in, so we'll see how it goes.
Give us the latest. Give us the latest. What's happening?
He got another guard in, so we'll see how this stuff goes. You getting guys this late. I'd rather get high school guys and develop them. You're getting guys from other schools that wasn't playing well at other schools. That'll make your team better. You get good high school guys in there. You know what I mean? And you try to build. I know he's on a 1-year contract, but you always want to leave it. You always want to leave it better than when you have. So that way you can get another job. Or that's my thinking.
Hey, DP, you bring a great point. If you're on an interim basis, are you thinking about the future? Are you thinking about only current? Because you bring a great point. I mean, are you going to bring high school kids in, not knowing whether you're going to be around to develop?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the Rocks have to. What they're saying is everything got to line up for you to be good. You know what I mean? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, everything got to line up. But if you show other people that you still was building, you still try to build a program, I think that shows a lot of character about the guy too. And I think, so you don't have to get a whole bunch. You just get a couple here and there, just to fill out the roster because, you got to fill out 12, the 15. You get your guys that you're going to play. Then you might have a guy that might play a little bit and get better at the end. So, if Ren Baker sees, he's still building, maybe we can keep him another year, see how it goes. We can get his guys in, So,
but ADP, if you're bringing all these transfers in, play devil's advocate here. If you bring all these transfers in, if I'm a high school kid, am I scared to come into WVU thinking they're going to out recruit me the next semester? They're going to bring some kid in. Let's bring some guys got 3 years experience on me.
Yeah, especially the last 2 or 3 years. That's all they've been doing is going through the portal. They haven't been getting nobody, the 3-4 stars no more. They've been going, with the quick fixes. They think, because some teams have some success with it. Michigan has success with it. I'm friends. I work out with Hunter Dickinson. So his first year, he was almost a player of the year. Then they go to the portal, and then Jawan gets his son. They stop throwing him the ball, so he's unhappy. He goes to Kansas, he's happy again. Kansas still building through. They still, they got one portal guy, and everybody else is what they get, the high level guys in high school that are really good. You get those grown men, they can get very, very stubborn on you when things don't go right.
Yeah. I'll tell you how you handle that, fellas. About not recruiting and going to high school. All you got to do nowadays, NIL. You want to tell you how important you are? I'll hand you some money. All right. And that money is going to tell you. So I don't think, all this going into high school will be such a problem. Because you got to just go ahead and say, this is how much I care about you. I'm not going to out-recruit you. This is how much I care about you. You know what I'm saying? I think that would actually, seriously, it's just the way of the world now. So you got to go that way and think about it, because if you go ahead and you put the money down, they're not going to try to out-recruit you, all right, with an investment in you. That's just the way it goes.
And it's not just secondary guys. If you watch the FSU game the other night, Keon Coleman was a stud at Michigan State last year. He's now at Florida State. He transferred after the spring, and he was a monster in that game.
You're right about that. And I'll tell you, man, it's the way it is. But let's go ahead and talk real quick about Texas Tech going down and not going. They went down, they lost, but they were at home and losing to Wyoming. And then you got Kegler dropping to Texas State. That used to be. I'm trying to blank now. The offensive coordinator, Jake Spavital. All right, so Jake Spavital, he just got released from the Texas State team, but they were those are some seriously huge wins for Wyoming and Texas State. What does that say about Big 12 right now, Al?
First game, I don't think you can read too much into it. I think that it's unfortunate. You lose some luster of your conference, but it's that's a change. The thing is now, you guys know, with the transfer portal, there's a little more parity. There's some guys transferring to schools are not playing, and they're transferring down to some FCS schools and mid-majors, whatever, and they're playing. So I think there's more parity, but again, I'm sure, those teams took those guys, they underestimated, and they didn't come to play.
What do you think, Frank?
I always agree with Al, but I'm skeptical, and I'll tell you why. I look for patterns. So next week is really important. Yeah, 7 Big 12 teams had blowouts or close to it, but you had 6 teams, 3 lost, and they were all big favorites. I mean, TCU lost, we know that. I'd really be worried about Baylor. They were a 26.5 favorite. They lose at home to Texas State. You know what they're playing next is Utah.
Yeah.
Utah.
And they lost your quarterback. Frank, they lost your quarterback too.
God.
Baylor lost your quarterback.
Oh, boy. And then you got Texas Tech. I watched that game. They looked listless up in Laramie. And Tech was a 13-point favorite. And I also worried Houston was an underdog at home against USTA, lucky to win. Oklahoma State did not manhandle Central Arkansas. They won. They were a 25.5 favorite. And BYU, that game was 7-0 going into the fourth quarter in Provo. And, they won that game, 7-0 against 14-0 against Sam Houston. So I guess the point I'm making, Al, is that I hope this is not a pattern. When you've got 6 of your teams either losing or barely winning, when they've got, they're expected to win.
Well, that's for sure. And you know what? I mean, look at Marshall, University of Albany, man. They were 30-point favorites, 30.5 or something like that. And they barely squeaked out the win. So, that was at home, and we were watching that down there at the Pallet Bar. So, figure that out. We had the big old pregame. We had one thing I want to leave it with this. I said this. I put out a tweet. Zach Frazier is the best center in the country. Now, I want someone to tell me I'm wrong. Anyone. DP, you're going to tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not telling you wrong on this one.
Wow, so impressive. And I appreciate all you guys, man, and coming in here and talking about this. And, it's happy Labor Day. Tell you this is today was coming on the show was a little bit of labor here for us because we lost the game. Hoping that we could actually pull that game out against Penn State. Not to be, so let's go ahead. Let's turn this in against Duquesne. Keep it going. Let them keep growing. Let them keep thinking. Let them keep thinking that they're, better. And if those they better, when you believe in yourself, you have so much more to offer as a player. When you believe in yourself, and if you can get a group of them believing in themselves, then you got something really that you can start having a recipe that you can cook with. That's for sure. And then let's just say this, all right? I am all for West Virginia for Neil Brown, all right, if he starts winning. But I'm telling you right now, he's got to start winning because Mountaineers are tired of losing. Now, as Penn State, we all know we were going to lose this game. But I'm telling you, right now, we talked all about this going up to all preseason that we've been on the show. West Virginia's at a crossroads right now. You have to change the perception of WVU football. It has to change. Only one way to do that. Only one way to make donors give you money. Only one way to get people buying tickets, and that's winning. Winning, and you have to win now. All right. Again, Penn State. All right, you get a pass, right? Get it somewhat. All right. So you learn what you can, but now you got to start going. Am I right, Frank, or am I wrong?
Absolutely. There's no alternative. What you said has to. It is. It's an is.
Okay, Al.
I agree with you. I think it's you got to keep moving forward, and you got to put it in the rearview mirror, and you've got to season's too long. I mean, you can't let one game such as the Penn State game make or break you. And I think you've got to, you've just got to push forward, and I think they will. I mean, I think this is. I mean, I in my heart of hearts, the glass is always half full, and I think that this will be. I really think this is going to be a good season. I mean, are we going to win 9 games? I don't know. Are we going to win? I think we're going to win more than we lose.
All right, DP.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the first game, just like Texas Tech lost, Baylor lost. That's the first game. It happens. You get one game to play. Sometimes, if you're not ready, people will jump out on you. But like this game, it was a few plays here and there. You know what I mean? The missed tackle, stuff that's fixable. But they competed the whole game. They tackled better. You know what I mean? But it was Penn State. It was the first game on the road. I thought I thought it was a positive of them playing hard than more than anything else. But we'll be fine. I think we're going. I agree with Al. Hopefully we'll win. With 500.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. We'll be checking in with you and keep it going. Hey, TP, stay up on top of that Josh Eilert thing for me.
I got you.
No, I want to know. All right, because that's the two big experiments, man. I'm telling you. All right, and I'm rooting for Josh. Rooting for you, buddy.
I'm gonna try to come down. I'm gonna try to come down for a workout. They let me in the building, so we'll see.
Well, you know what? If you stay on this show, they won't. All right. All right, Frank Fair, as awesome as always, my friend. Thank you for your information. Thank you for your time that you give and for all the data that you compel. I think you have to do it anyways because that's just your brain, how it works.
You're right. I know you're right.
Yeah, we appreciate you using it on the show. Coach Johnson, as always, man, the wisdom is there, brother. Wisdom is there. Thank you so much, fellas. Take care now.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you later, Al.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. That's right. Happy Labor Day. And okay. Well, that was a good discussion, man. A lot of things going on. I have to say, WVU, I'm going to tell you the truth. I saw some good things in there. I saw some tackling. There's, nobody's 100%, right? We all know that no team's 100%. But I saw some good things, and I saw them play hard. I put out a tweet. I said, much love to you, young brothers, because you played hard. You didn't always play smart, and you didn't always win every battle, because you would know that. But you did play hard, and you did show up, and you didn't turn and run at the first, oh, here we go, first sign of some negative going. You kept battling, and I appreciate that. I'll tell you the truth. I'll always tell you the truth. But I'm also going to tell you the truth is there's issues. There are issues. Garrett Green's got to get better at pocket passing. He's got to get better. Right? West Virginia needs to win and win now. West Virginia needs to win now. Okay? Duquesne's a great place to start right now. Can't help it. Can't worry about Penn State. It's gone. Done. Over. All right? But now it's time to start amassing wins. Neil Brown in his press conference today said how much he liked his team, and he liked his team in camp. How much he likes his team right now after the Penn State. Good. Because I'm rooting for young brothers, man. I'm definitely rooting. But right now it's that time. It's that time. The perception of WVU, just like the Penn State broadcast, all that, yeah, Todd Blackwood, whatever, all right? We understand that's going to be a homer anyways. But we got to have the perception of a winner. And that's what we were. And we're not there now. Neil Brown's 22-26 overall. The record speaks for itself. Okay? Do I like Neil Brown? You darn right I do. But the record speaks for itself. And that's what you have to change. Especially if you're going to get paid that kind of money. You need to make it happen. Make it happen, and they're trying. I know they are. But, if you got to make a change, make a change. If you get 162 yards passing is not going to cut it. I'm sorry. Garrett Green's got exceptional talent in a lot of places. All right? He could be in the slot. I've told you before, I think he could go to the NFL as a slot receiver. I really do. I think he's got that kind of talent. Not if he doesn't develop it, though. I mean, you just can't play quarterback all your time in college and then go to the NFL and say, I'm a slot guy. And it just doesn't happen. So I think he's extremely talented. But I'm going to tell you, man, you got to start winning games. And maybe it's going to take the whole season to measure out and success. But I know this, all right? Nagy brought you down, man. You didn't win any games with them. You didn't win games. JT Daniels, you didn't win games. You know what I mean? It's time to go ahead and find. If you're going to develop the future, okay, put Nico in. But you're going to know you're going to get bumps and bruises because he's a freshman. But yeah, that's what you call an investment. investment and say, hey, you can take that route or try to inject, but don't inject them on fourth down and with some crazy crapshoot play. Right? You improve. Where else you improve? You improve the penalties, right? The team looked more disciplined last night. That was, or Saturday night, excuse me. That was a big deal. You looked like there's a more discipline. I like that a lot. I like the fact they looked more physical. I like that a lot. More physical. Physicality. All right. That was good. That was good. You can spin you want to spin a yarn, whatever you want to do, but at no time was Penn State ever worried about WVU in that game Saturday night. All right, just so you know that let's talking truth. Let's be real. Let's be real. The score was 31-7 with 3 minutes left in the game, or 4 minutes left in the game. 31-7. All right? It is what it is. Okay, if that's what you think if victory was snatched away from you, no, how about this? How about going 4 for 14 on third down? That's where your victory snatched away. That's reality. How about getting a completion percentage rate? How about not dropping or throwing bad passes at screens? Okay, let's look at reality. Where is this team in reality? The offensive line, boy, they sure look like they're top billing. Sure did. Zach Frazier, best center in the country. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. No doubt, and I stake a lot of things on it. That he is one of the best that's out there. Offensive line, Brandon Yates. Hey, yo, man, I saw you have some energy last night, Saturday night. I keep saying that, darn it. But I saw you have some energy. Yeah, all right. There you go, young brother. Step it up. So it's Remack. I loved it, man. You're playing tough, strong. Great get for Western. I mean, when you look at Nestor at tackle and you look at Wyatt at the left tackle, and you kind of forget about Thomas. But boy, tell you what, dude's a tough young lad right there, man. That offensive line, I like it. Cole Taylor, so you targeted him, tight end. Like that. I like that. Keep it going. 6'7", he's a big target for Garrett Green. That's good. Let's get the receivers going. You sat there, or people said, going into the game in Penn State, the running game. We all know that Penn State could run the ball. Well, they ran for 146 yards just like WVU did. They both ran equally the same, but 322 yards. See, that's what you need to win games. That's what you need to win games. Not going 4 for 14 on third downs. I mean, you forget that there's Penn State, they got a problem. I'll tell you what, people say that they think that that might be their year. It's not going to be their year if they get a field goal kicker. All right? Field goals win games. And they better solve that problem pretty fast. That was 6 points that they lost. It didn't matter against West Virginia, but it will against the Michigan. It will against Ohio State. And then other such teams like that. So they better get that fixed. But, the game is what it is. And West Virginia is where it is. Now, the good news is that there is some improvement from last season to this season. There is some improvement. I saw it. I saw it measured. Last year's team, nah. Lee Koba, I told you all along, he's a dude, man. He's a dude. And I'll tell you what, I'm really happy. Sean Martin. Yeah, all right. Coming on, man. It's really starting to come out in you, man. And I just encourage you to keep sucking in whatever you're sucking in, learning whatever you're learning, going out and playing to the best of your ability because, first of all, he's a great young man. And number two is he's really, really got great potential. And he's just starting to actually rise up and meet it, in my opinion. Of course, you got the Eddie Vestinarian fighting in there, very good. And he said, Neil Brown said Mike Lockhart had his best game he's played. Well, I'll tell you what, that's good because you seriously need that. And he does look like he's in better shape. He actually ran down running back. I think it was 12 yards downfield, 10 to 12 yards, whatever it was. But he ran down and tackled him. Never would have seen that last year. Never. So that is a good sign. And, watching that, those players, they see it with Beanie, look pretty good out there at corner. Wilson. I mean, I saw them actually doing some challenging on the DBs, the corners. They were up on the receivers at times, but they still gave up 322 yards or something like that. The stats. They still gave out all that. That's not good. I don't care. That was a first-time quarterback, and yes, he's the real deal. I said it all along. And yes, at 6'5", 245, man, it's a nimble dude in the pocket. I said that in the pregame. I showed it on film. All right, nothing surprised me about what Penn State did. Not a thing. Because I showed it to you in the pregame. And they did what they did. And you know what they did? They're saying, hey, you know what? We're going to make West Virginia throw the ball. As Neil Brown said, we've said we're going to shut down the run for Penn State, but we're going to make Drew Allar beat us. Well, Drew Allar did beat you. He did. And I don't blame you for his strategy. I would have done the same thing. Just it didn't work out for you. But they did the same thing too now. I don't just because Drew Allar, yeah, he won, but you know what? I mean, it is what it is. Okay, Garrett Green had a very average game throwing the ball. He's got to be able to progress. He's got to be able to go through. There's one first read's not there. Give me a second read. Just even a two-man read before even a check down or whatever. But it is what it is. You want to win more than 6 games? It is what it is. And they said, oh, he could go ahead and throw all the ball. Well, listen, man, if he could sling the ball all around like he said, then he would be over 60% completion percentage in his career. He's not. And that's the reality of the situation. Am I a Garrett Green fan? I better believe it. I think highly, highly, highly. But there's got to be an adult in the room. There's got to be a decision maker saying, listen, this is a decision. Here's the decision. 7 points they scored. 7 points. Until 4 minutes in the game, left in the game. That means, I'm not sure what math is, but that means like 56 minutes, right? Out of 60-minute game, 56 minutes, they scored 7 points. That's not winning football. I don't care if it's president. That's not winning. You have to score points. And to do that, you have to not be a one-trick pony. One read and run. You can't do it. You gotta, it doesn't work down the line. You'll get big plays. But you also get a lot of negative plays. And you have to be able to do it. And so let's see. Let's go, Gary. You want to, stay in there. You want to, this team, the players love to play with you. All right, fine. Got to be more accurate. That's my take on it. That's my take. Now, tomorrow, I want to show you. You can say, hey, Wolf, you talk a lot. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. But I also am the only one that will talk it and show it. Because I don't see anyone else out there breaking down film and showing exactly what's right, what's wrong. Only on the WolfMan's call. Because we tell the truth. We don't do the company line. We don't do the idiot line. Right? We're right there telling you exactly what's going on, exactly what's up with football. Different opinions now. Different opinions. And you can either take what I say, grain of salt, or you can take it and carry it with you. But it's always what I feel is the truth. It's not going to be what Ren Baker's telling me or Neil Brown's telling me. I've already lived that life for 12 years. Shane Lyons. No, company line, man. Glad I'm out. All right. So that's what we're going to do here. What do we got here? Anybody else? We got Talk His Pit is on. What's going on, Talk His Pit? Where you been, buddy? There you go. Up there you go. Timothy, what do you guys to say here? We're not quite as good, but we do have some. All right. Anyone else? Jackson, there's Jackson Johnson. Hello, Jackson. Nice to see you. All right. Let's go to one of my favorite times. And that, of course, is right here. Going to, where's the commercials here? Well, how about cover 2 data? Almost right on, man. How about that? That was pretty wild, huh? Yeah, no doubt. That was pretty cool, man. Oh, let's see what we got here. That we're ready. Yep. Okay, let's get it up. Yep, here we go. Yep, Archies, right there in Pittsburgh. Archies Bar, appreciate you. Route 22 Sports Bar. Yep, right up there in Weirton, West Virginia. Part of WolfMan's Call Network. Calacino's down in Beckley. Pizzeria and Sporting Bar. What's up? Cantrell's. Well, I saw a big old piece of meat on one of your advertisements there. Cantrell's River City Grill and Pub. Looks delish. Legends. It's Aaron Gizzy out there. Lakeview. Legends Sports Bar and Grill. Cheat Lake area. Danny's down in Princeton, West Virginia. Appreciate you, Paige, down there at Danny's. All your support. Kegler's up here in Morgantown. Oh, Jerry, Greg, Steve, Dougie Moore, royalty up here, man. I'm sure a lot of people could be coming in, as well as headed to Mountaineer Tap House. What's up, Mel? How you doing? Yeah, I hope that Country Roads watch party, I hope that was good for you Saturday night. Bet you a lot of students right there. Yeah, we got to get that back up here. I just let that run out. So Jimbo's, how about that? Jimbo's place there up at Elkins and in Buckhannon. So nice. I had to do it twice. Yeah. And at the pitch, I stopped by the pitch this weekend on my way down to Charleston. Had some good food, really, really good food. They're right there in Dunbar. Wow, I tell you, they got like a huge park and just everything. Like you watch all these sporting events right from the pitch, man. Pretty cool. Really enjoyed that as well. Brickside Bar and Grill up to Rob Davis down there in Bridgeport. I think I covered it all. Very good. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take it down to our closing commercials here. Anybody else? Oh, nobody else has got anything to say here. Nobody else. Okay, well, I think that's about it, folks. Happy Labor Day to you. It's a good Labor Day. Let's just go with that. We'll go with the positive. You got to make decisions. You got to get better. But you know what? There's fight in you. And so let's see. The season's so young. Penn State is gone. It's over. Let's go West Virginia. Let's go Mountaineers. Let's go Young Brothers. Let's keep working, keep fighting, because we're all cheering for you. We're all rooting for you. Let's go Garrett Green, man. That's right. Keep going, man. Keep going. Keep fighting. Keep leading this team. And keep doing your very best. Your very, very best. And with that being said, how about the best center in the nation? Zach Frazier.
Hi, I'm Zach Frazier from Fairmont, and when I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Parmar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Buzzballs, ready-to-drink cocktails. #1 single-serve premix brand in the U.S. Buzzballs, have a ball. Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock. How many? The anywhere, anytime chargers, powering a connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times plus. Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery, as easy to charge as your cell phone. Sustainable energy. Stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paul. Order now at paulmini.com.
West Virginia United.